It has been months since this moment of celebration you just saw, breaking ground on a new 911 dispatch center in North City. Well, months later, instead of construction crews and materials filling the space, weeds are growing and little work is being done. This is First Alert 4 at 6. I'm Corey Stark.
And I'm Morgan Harris in for Samantha Jones. Tonight, First Alert 4 Investigates is working to get answers about St. Louis City's proposed 911 dispatch center. Building it is slated to cost millions of your tax dollars.
Investigator David Amilati is asking the city why the spot slated for construction remains bare.
We again visited this week, and it's just bare. Weeds growing high, feet tall. You see how unkept that property is right now. The contract for the new public safety center was inked last June. The question we are trying to answer is why an emergency contract was needed if a year later construction is not underway.
For me, I was always embarrassed. I was embarrassed to host training in that facility.
Clarence Hines used to run St. Louis's police academy, which he says fell into such disrepair he quit his job. Now he questions how the city of St. Louis found $45 million for a new 911 dispatch center, which city officials had promised would pump up public safety.
It is a lot of money, but I haven't seen any specs or blueprints to know what it's going to entail, but that's a lot.
Does response times change with the state-of-the-art 911 dispatch center?
No, not in my opinion. You need people to answer those calls and evaluate them.
First Alert 4 has investigated the city's slow responses to emergencies several times over the last few years. The proposed fix, a new 911 dispatch center to bring all of the city's dispatch services under one roof, streamlining communication, officials said, between police, fire, and EMS.
This new 911 communication center will allow the city of St. Louis to use the newest technology to provide for the safety of the citizens who live and visit our great city. It will provide a stable and distraction-free environment to monitor, assess, and provide coordinated, rapid and effective responses from the police, fire, and EMS departments.
These renderings show what the building is supposed to look like when complete. The city says $25 million in ARPA money is helping fund the building, plus $10 million from the state. Last December, the Board of Aldermen approved another $8.5 million for the dispatch center, increasing the price tag to a total of $45 million. But 5 months later, the only thing at 2741 Thomas Street behind the fencing and construction signage is overgrown grass. First Alert 4 has made multiple requests to city officials for updates. So far, no one has agreed to speak on camera about the project. One key question, if a year later there is no construction, why was an emergency agreement needed? First Alert 4 Investigates obtained this emergency agreement the city of St. Louis signed with Cosney Wagner last June. It says the city is in urgent need of completion of a new public safety answering point, and the emergency agreement is needed due to the severe public need for enhanced 911 response and emergency service, and immediate deadlines for funding to proceed with construction. Pat Cosney and the Board of Public Service President Richard Bradley signed off on that agreement on June 10, 2024. Then Comptroller Darlene Green signed off on it the next day. The contract price is listed just over $21 million. A cost breakdown from June 4th shows that's just for the structure. It does not include doors, windows, 911 dispatch systems, communications tech, or security install. It's still unclear if that's what brings the total to $45 million. First Alert 4 contacted Cosney Wagner to speak on camera. In an email back, Vice President Mike Cosney declined and referred us to the city. For Clarence Hines, he says he simply believes first responders and the public deserve to know.
It's very progressive to bring dispatch fire EMS together under one roof. That is actually wise. That should have happened a long time ago.
We have also made requests to speak with Mayor Spencer to ask if her administration supports this contract the previous administration set up. You'll remember Mayor Spencer recently paused another deal orchestrated by her predecessor, the Metro Green Line. The city tells First Alert 4 the construction of the 911 dispatch center is still slated for completion in 2026. As we get answers to our questions, we'll update you on air and inside your First Alert 4 news app. For First Alert 4 Investigates, I'm David Amilati.